Hello everyone, welcome again to the channel. I want to share with you my opinion about this new information that I found in the Jerusalem Post. This was mentioned a little bit while ago, probably at the start of the conflict in Ukraine, but recently became again news. So basically, Ukraine wants the Iron Dome from Israel, and the ambassador to the Ukraine's ambassador to Israel, Yevgen Kornichuk, was complaining that Israel refused to send some anti-tank missiles. So let's take a look at what is being said here. He said Kiev wants to purchase Israel's Iron Dome air defense systems and for Jerusalem to sign off on the transfer of its Spike SR anti-tank guided missile system from Germany to Ukraine, the country's ambassador Yevgen Kornichuk told reporters on Tuesday. Last week, from what I know for sure, Americans gave permission for the anti-Spike missiles to be transferred from Germany to Ukraine, and Israel said no, said Kornichuk, adding that Berlin wanted to make the transfer. In so doing, he confirmed a report first published in Walla that Israel had refused to sign off on the transfer of its anti-tank defense system produced by the Israeli company Rafael Advanced Defense Systems. And the Israel missile, which is capable of penetrating 99 centimeters of armor, can be operated in either a direct attack or mid-course navigation based on target coordinates only. These modes enable the destruction of long-range hidden targets with pinpoint precision, damage assessment, and obtaining real-time intelligence. And the system has a range of up to 32 kilometers, and they go on mentioning a lot of other technical features about it. So it's an advanced system from Israel, and they want those systems, but apparently Israel is not agreeing to that. And then the ambassador goes on to mention on his frustration over Israel's failure to provide Ukraine with offensive military assistance, technical military support, and continued medical support, including its refusal to treat Ukrainian soldiers in its hospitals. Israel is no longer focused on the war. Kornichuk charged Ukraine has been removed from the Israeli press almost completely, he says, so there is no war anymore. So what is interesting about this is a couple of things, as I will mention. Number one, that Israel, the state of Israel, is trying to be cautious about this military assistance because they don't want to anger Russia. If you know, Israel has been kind of working both sides. It's working with Ukraine in a limited way, but with Russia has been also working, and it is known that they have this relationship with Russia, so they don't want to give the impression that they are giving a lot of support to Ukraine. I think it's a perfectly valid diplomatic posture for any country, and unlike the most of the European countries which are 100% against Russia, Israel has tried to be a little bit more neutral. I don't think that is a bad thing. And let's say here, yeah, it's exactly what I was mentioning, that they are not giving a lot of assistance. And it is probably, they say here, that it is unlikely that Israel will sell the Iron Dome to Ukraine or any other country because of regulations signed with the US and international obligations. But anyway, that's kind of the main thing. They criticize, or he criticizes Israel, where he says, when it comes to Israeli military, Kornichuk said, we have had zero military technical cooperation with Israel since the war started. And he even complains that Israel refused to send 20,000 protective vests and helmets. He says that Ukraine received only 2,000 helmets and 5,000 vests, which were a grade 3 and not a grade 5, so they're less effective. And he also complains about the fact that Israel has refused to treat soldiers, especially wants them to treat Ukrainian soldiers because they want prosthetic treatment so they can go back to the fight, as if it was not enough. They don't want them to be civilians. So that is the essence of this. Somehow I see two things. That number one, this ambassador is much more cautious in the way he talks about the host government as compared to the Ukrainian ambassador to Germany, which just basically is criticizing with very harsh words to its host country. So this guy is much more measured in the way he talks about his host country. And the main thing is that it is clear to me, and it seems that it's clear even to him, that Israel is not going to provide these systems, and because they are afraid to give the false impression that they are supporting Ukraine and they want to keep good relations with Russia. I think that's very acceptable diplomatic posture, but Ukraine doesn't agree with that. I'm not sure exactly why Israel will refuse to provide medical support. I don't see anything wrong with that, but they have their own reasons for that, which they are not mentioned here in the article. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. In my opinion, if more countries will take the stance of the Israeli government with regards to weapons, this failed conflict in which Ukraine is losing will end sooner and with less deaths than it is already taking, both civilians and soldiers. But it seems like most of the Western countries don't agree with this posture. Anyway, that's my opinion. I'm in favor of peace. I hope that Ukrainian government will be willing to compromise and negotiate, but they walk from early peace talks and got back to their, reneged from their official posture where they were willing to negotiate, and now they are completely unwilling to settle for any kind of agreement, which is not very healthy, and it will only cause more deaths, like I said. I hope peace will be reached sooner than later. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section, and as always I ask you to please like this video, share it in social media, subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you again very soon, and thank you for watching.